Okay, so we're live. Let's start. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our Dynamics 365 Technical Architect interview simulation event. We're excited to have you all here as we dive into the world of Dynamics 365 and explore the challenges and opportunities faced by D365 technical architects in the rental domain. Our simulated company, called Dwell Managed Solutions, has been in the rental business for many years, providing property rentals and a variety of additional services. They are now looking to migrate to Dynamics 365 to overcome the difficulties they face with their current IT infrastructure. Today, one of our team members will be playing the role of a company representative, namely me. I will be an IT manager who has worked with Dynamics 365 products in the past and now joined the well-managed solutions company to help with the transformation. While another Max, will be taking on the role of the job applicant, a D365 technical architect. The interview will be focused on high-level architecture, implementation flow, and best practices, avoiding technical deep dives. Our goal is to give a glimpse of what a D365 technical architect interview may look like and to showcase what types of questions you can expect in an interview for such a role. Disclaimer: the Dwell Managed Solutions is a fictional organization and any resemblances to real companies is unintentional. The interview simulation is our new format, so we would like you to share feedback with us at the end of the meeting in a short anonymous survey. The link to it will be provided closer to the end. Our agenda looks as follows. Now we just heard the introduction, our goal and disclaimer. Then we will transition into the background story and we will commence the interview itself and we will have a conclusion. For your convenience, we have this presentation shared live so that you can actually scroll back and forth along the presentation. It's not really huge, but the background story is quite an intensive story. So for you to be aware of what's the premise, it's to your convenience to be able to switch back and forth and read about the company itself. The background story. Client name, Dwell Managed Solutions. Dwell Managed Solutions is a well-established property management company that has been operating in the rental business for over 20 years. They specialize in offering a comprehensive range of services, including leasing, maintenance, accounting, cleaning, and repair services for their clients' properties. Dwell Managed Solutions has built a strong reputation in the market for its excellent customer service and seamless property management solutions. Over the years, Dwell Managed Solutions has expanded its property portfolio and has continued to invest in various systems to manage its growing operations. However, with growth comes complexity, and the company is now struggling with an array of interconnected systems that have become increasingly difficult to maintain and modify. These systems, which were initially designed to optimize the managed operations, have now become a significant bottleneck in their daily activities. Background story challenges. The company faces several challenges, including integration issues, maintenance and scalability, lack of centralization, and inadequate customization. I will not go deep into details of all of them. Feel free to read it by yourself. And Dwell Managed decided to address this challenge. Dwell Managed Solutions is now in search of a more convenient and unified platform that can help streamline their operations and provide a flexible, scalable solution for their expanding business. The company aims to find a comprehensive property management system that not only addresses the existing problems, but also sets them up for long-term success in the competitive rental market. Okay, and off we go to the very first question. So, hi Max, nice to see you. Let's just let's assume we are in interview, right?
Hey.
So yeah, really nice to have you here. My name is Max as well. It's quite amazing that we have the same name. It's, you know, I used to work in dynamic space actually, but I worked as a manager, not really a technical architect's role or of some sort. So I definitely have some understanding of what we're going to talk about today. So I would like to ask a couple of questions that would help me better understand whether you are capable and whether you are up to the expectations of our company, as we are undergoing a business transformation and we are looking forward to actually acquiring a technical architect, Dynamics 365 technical architect. So without further ado, my first question, with all the background that you already know, how would you approach assessing the current state of our IT infrastructure and identifying areas where Dynamics 365 can make a significant impact?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, let's start from the point that basically your company operates for over 20 years, and it implies and makes the current challenges more like bigger than it would be for a company that just jump started or use some modern technologies. So as you mentioned previously, you have a lot of systems, a lot of different integrations, type of activities inside of it. So I would suggest to start from the audit of your current IT infrastructure. That will imply to make and conduct a comprehensive review of your existing systems. That will include your property management system, your accounting software, your maintenance system, same as all on-premise systems and the file storage that currently used by your organization. Audit would involve analyzing of infrastructure setup, data flows, how integration operates, main integration points, and we'll try to identify main pain points and inefficiencies in your system. So based on that audit, we should be able to find main action points for our next steps. We should be able to find more significant challenges that we'll need to cover in the upcoming migration and identification of all the systems. And what will be the more important to us, that we should be able to make an evaluation of the Dynamics 365 products family, and we should be able to identify which of them are applicable to your organization. So there could be potentially a case that we are maybe not interested in everything, that maybe some of your systems still may operate and do all the jobs required to us, and maybe we just need to pick up and main components, main things. Maybe your biggest challenge right now, how the integration are done between your current system, as Dynamics products can provide you more seamless integration. So there will be less connection points. Most of the things could come as an out-of-the-box things. Maybe the problem currently comes to the scalability and flexibility of your solution. If you go with Dynamics product family, it's already in the cloud. So those moments are handled by the Microsoft. It's part of your subscription. But from the other side, it potentially may boost your final invoice by the end of the month for your infrastructure. So audit should be able to provide us some main understanding regarding what should be the final steps for us, how we should be able to implement that migration, which products we potentially may use, and what's more important for organization, for your management, that we should potentially make estimation of return on investment, ROI points, and make the potential benefit. So we should be able to calculate what will be the difference, how much you charge currently for all the infrastructure, how complex it is to organize and support it right now compared to what you will get in the future, how easily it would be to maintain it in the future and extend when it will be required, same as just a numbers to compare what you pay now, what you will get next. So I would say that the audit should give us some basic points before we'll go deep to some development, to some activities, to invoicing, and it may give us a chance to stop before we'll make some mistakes.
Okay, makes sense to me.
Cover your question.
Yeah, makes sense to me, exactly. I mean, ROI and what you mentioned is absolutely what I'm looking forward to, as we would be asked to provide those figures and to justify our decisions, why we move this or that route, and what are the benefits in the long run. So Makes sense to me. Thank you for answering that. But also, could you please elaborate on one more thing? In the audit, do you have like preferences in terms of tools that you use to conduct that audit, or maybe specific methodologies that you use to conduct that audit?
Again, it may depend on your needs. So the usual use case that provides more independent look to the system comes that, let's say you will hire me to make as an external person an audit of your system, but at the same time you should hire the second architect that will make his audit of the system. So you'll have two different sides to what currently you have there and the end results of our suggestions. So based on that, you can compare if that's valid or not. As by the tooling, you currently use a lot of on-premise old system. So it will depend on your current purchased products, on their versions, on the infrastructure setup, even on those servers that you use. Is it a Linux servers or it's a Windows servers? Because based on that, there will be different tools. Are you using an on-premise Active Directory, or you have some other identity provider? Is it possible that I will have direct access to your database? Is it some modern database as MySQL or MS SQL, or it's something more, let's say, not outdated, not in trend, like the Lotus DB or something more older one that require, let's say, an additional person that I should find out to assist me with analyzing of the data. So the question a little bit more complex one, and in any case, it will require additional research. But first of all, an audit should give us an artifacts that will list all the system, all the product versions, all the software tools and connectors that you currently use. And based on that, we can start mitigating of the points and providing some action points. So let's say you're using those PMS systems. So for that PMS system, we potentially may need an IT expert in that system who will assist us in providing the additional documentation of the things that you have. Usual case that organization like you lack the in-house documentation. Some of knowledge are in heads, in some leads, or just developers.
Or completely missed. That's about us.
Or completely missed, yeah. So a lot of points, probably a lot of workshops that will need set up to get to the point that I will able to give you a list of the tools or what will be. But an end result would be an architecture assessment document that will contain your drivers, main risk, non-risk activities, architecture findings, same as recommendation points or architecture suggestions that your organization can apply or mitigate right now, regardless of are you going to prolong my services or go to the Dynamics, or let's say you will decide to switch to the Salesforce. So anyway, you're taking the artifact of the document that you can consume and use as information from it in any ways of like.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you for that. Okay, then the next question. Let's say that based on the results of that audit, that deliverable that you provide us, we would like to fully migrate to the entire Dynamics 365 product family and the Microsoft stack. What specific products could you replace our infrastructure with?
So let's first of all, like as previously mentioned, there's still a chance that some of your products still can be in place. Same as we can make a migration step by step, reaching
stage rollout.
The milestone. Yeah, stage rollout. So there's potentially no need to roll out everything in one go. Maybe we can start from, let's say, if audit will decide that all the products are suitable for us, they're applicable to your requirements, that will cover those challenges, those issues that you have. So let's say, and Dynamics 365 Finance may assist you as a replacement for your standalone accounting system. So it will give you streamlining or your financial transactions, invoicing, reporting, and real-time financial insights. Plus, we can use a Power BI for visualization of all that information and it will give at the same time all the things that you need, plus to the management, nice looking reports regarding how the things go on in the organization. 365 for sales could be used to replace your CRM system. That will give you a little bit more out of the box logic and a dataverse behind the scenes to accumulate all the data, provide more integration points in the future. So it will give you a way to manage your leads, contacts, and the overall customer integration. In the same time, we can take a look to the customer service to improve your communication with your customers, to improve tracking and resolving of your tenants and customer needs and issues. Again, from the other side, you have an employees, you have the services that you provide on the ground. So you may take a look to the field service. It's nice product that gives you almost full capabilities of your in-house management systems that you currently use. So you're able to track the requests, the schedule of activities, your workflows more efficiently, and it integrates with all that stuff, plus provides a mobile applications out of the Microsoft, same as third-party one. So your workers can check their schedule, activities, and tasks right in their working place. And as they're navigating through the apartment, through the different part of the buildings, it may be super useful to them, because right now the only way for them to know something is either receive an email, as you mentioned that all systems are old one, on-premise one, without some other things. So my assumption so that they're either receiving the email or pre-printed label for the work, or maybe they just check from the desktop what the activities and they just move to the point. For the data storage, I would suggest to take a look to the SharePoint, as it will give you quite nice unified place to store all your documents. Plus, again, you have integration with all Microsoft stack, and same as in the financial operation and the sales, we'll able to provide you integration to the same SharePoint instance. Potentially, you may take a look to the Power Apps and Power Automate, and it may provide you on the first on your first stages of migration additional tooling that can cover some holes for the missing functionality, for missing integration. And next on, in the next iteration, we can develop more scalable solution based on those prototypes. As a final one, of course, you are going to use the Microsoft Azure as a main service that will provide you additional scalability, additional services. Most likely, we're going to have some integration in the cloud running on to communicate with some of your on-premise systems, as most likely the small chance that some of the system will not able to migrate in the first stage, in the first rollout, in the next rollout. So we'll still need some integration communication with them. So in total, we have a wide variety of the products, and all basically the same as the previous question. It comes to the initial audit. We need to identify which products are suitable for you. There's no sense to make migration in sake of migration. We should have a fully qualified list of the action points that we're going to cover. Same as we will need to figure out your performance requirements. Are you okay to wait minutes, hours for some operation, or you need to do it in the real time? Because based on that, you may need to look to the additional products. We may look to the logic apps that will provide you more functionalities that Power Automate. We may look to the Azure functions or web services, app plans, and all that stuff that will give you a lot more functionality, in some cases for less price, with more performance. But that is a decision we can make based on the final audit and the findings.
Okay. Makes sense. So you mentioned quite a lot of products. I just took notes while you were talking, and I realized that the picture looks similarly to what we have right now. And actually, the goal of our transformation is actually to avoid those silos that we have and that pile of crappy software that doesn't really communicate with each other really well, and therefore stakeholders are pissed because they cannot get reports straight away when they want, when they need. The data accuracy is lame. So Dynamics 365 Finance, Sales, Customer Service, Field Services, and Power Automate in Azure, this is all what they noted. This is quite a big list. And how will the data be exchanged between these applications? I mean, this is the crucial point for us. So what do you have in your pocket for that?
Yeah, I agree. That's like from the first side, it looks quite strange in a big variety, and that was the case a couple years ago. So even the whole product line follow like the same naming convention. Microsoft states that it's like full family, single product, unified thing. It's still separate modules, and you will have a multiple integration point between them. But the main difference compared to your existing system is that most of those connections come as an out-of-box products. So whenever you set up your finance and operation and Dynamics 365 CRM models, you have at least two ways how you can connect those systems with different pros and cons. You have additional ways how we can make this integration using still, let's say, out-of-the-box integrated solutions like the Power Automate or Logic App, and it will be still supported by Microsoft. Moreover, the main idea is that beside of the out-of-the-box tooling, you have a community support that generates new type of the connectors. You have a company support, so a lot of big players on the market provide their development activities to create new connectors, to create new integration to the Dynamics product family, same as to the proprietary products. So in general, it gives you more flexibility and a lot more tooling that you can consume without the need of custom development. And if you take from the license standpoint, it may look like you're going to pay a lot more right now for the license per month. But to compare with the price of hire a team to develop a product, let's say in the next year, it may be that price of license will be less than all those development, all those integrations. Take it in general. So we have a Dataverse as the main platform with main data storage that previously was called as Common Data Service. So it provides you unified platforms that store most of your data that relates to the CRM, customer engagement, Power Apps, Power Pages, and those part of the modules. You have an additional Power Platform that gives you the Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI as an easy to integrate application that provides you nice reporting, quick logic, and ability for you to make your prototypes really fast one. Previously mentioned by me, the out-of-the-box integrations. So the dozens of the integration and connectors that comes with that ships with that system. Moreover, from the other side, you're still open to use one of the custom development integration. So that could be either some Azure integration services, including could be some, again, logic apps that you can call by the Azure Teams API management system. Same as all of the products provides the API and SDK packages. As for the APIs, they usually is RESTful with or following or data standard. So it means that developers that are even not aware about the Dynamics families, that are not in .NET developers, will be able to write down their own integrations. So that's a complex topic, and in some cases, again, based on your audit on the challenges and things, there may be a case there will be no integration required. So we may come only to use a Dataverse, and everything will be stored there. We will use your current PMS system, and there will be just logic apps that will transfer data from time to time, or maybe a data flow that will provide some like looking the same functionality for us to know the data in place. Maybe we'll migrate fully, and there will be out-of-the-box integration or some third-party components that we can also use to get the result. But that's a huge topic. And yes, it looks too wide and too complex. But
okay,
the answer depends on the audit results.
Okay. I got it. I mean, like all of the answers, they will be finally like it all depends on all the results, right? And anything else is just speculation. Okay, I got it. Okay, but let's say let's stop on just one single point
Yeah,
that bothers me, right? And us as a company, we have huge operations running and we have sales department, and these two systems, they are completely disjoint. Let's imagine, my understanding, we will migrate operations to Dynamics 365 for finance and operations,
yeah,
and then Dynamics 365 for sales. This will be our CRM replacement, as you mentioned that. So
example.
how these two systems can integrate, because let's say we definitely need two-way integrations, right? We will push data to CRM, we will push data to the to the operation system, and somehow we need to synchronize them. So do we have options, and then what are the options for us really?
Okay, so let's focus on that particular one. So there are multiple things that we can use. So first of all, there are an out-of-the-box integration that provided from the finance operations side, same as from the Dataverse side. It works quite nice. As main disadvantages, as for any out-of-the-box integration, comes to the point that it does not cover some specific integration needs. There are usually some problems with the mapping for your custom tables, custom activities, and so you are going to have a lot of custom tables like based on 20 years of operation from the previous system. So we can take a look into that direction, but there may be potential disadvantages or limitations. So we may want to consider some other options. As an other options from easy one, we can take a look to the Power Automate. I would say that the easiest and faster ways how to make the integration. I wouldn't recommend to make any financial important integration by the Power Automate, as we have no so much control about the events, about the failures, and it's super hard to maintain them and support in case of some problems. So if some record will fail to synchronize, we'll need to spend additional time to write down the logics that will notify us about it, and it will be quite an issue to debug that thing, to find out the reason, and then deploy the fix for it. So as an alternative option, I would suggest to take a look to the Logic app because it covers all disadvantages of the Power Automate. We are going to have more performance. We are going to have all the same connectivity and connectors ways that we are able to use. It provides us with a full monitoring on the level of the Logic app itself, same as we can consume the service bus for the events, plus the application inside that will cover overall the system, all the events, notification for all interested parties, same as a full stack of activities of the actions that happened before the error itself. So we'll have a lot more visibility on the issue, and we should be able to operate even before the problem will be reported by the user, as we'll know about it immediately. Disadvantage comes to rising the technical expertise required to the team. So it basically means that you need a developer with a Logic app knowledge, with a knowledge how to deploy, maintain all those Azure stack, while with the Power Automate or out-of-the-box things, it will be just part of his usual skills. So you're not required to find some specific person. You can hire almost any consultant with appropriate skills. Other options that require even a lot more technical expertise and knowledge will be to create some custom integration using the APIs that are provided by the finance operation and the Dataverse. That could be done while using one of the clouds, so it can be potentially the Azure function or a separate service. We can again use some data factory, some additional storages. We can use service bus for even query and distribution, all that stuff. But it will require a lot more technical expertise. So you definitely will need, let's say, a .NET person with nice Azure skills. So your team will be expanded a lot more because you will now will need to have a team for the finance separation and dataverse customization, and a team to support your Azure cloud, all those integration points. So you should consider not only disadvantages of each of the approaches, but also the final cost for maintaining your team and required skills in the team, because otherwise it doesn't make much sense to support so huge integrated complex system without appropriately skilled technical guys in your team.
Yeah.
As a last option, I would say that you can take a look to some commercial products. For example, the Quinquesoft or previously the Scribe one. So they provide their product to make the integration and all the active stuff to do the magic while they handle all hard part. The main disadvantage comes to the cost for the license. Same as again, you need a person with expertise in those tools. So either you're going to contact those companies and request them for some vendor that will provide you services, or you need to find a person with experience in that, or you will hope that your existing team will able to handle those products with performance that you're looking for and all the activities that you're looking for.
Okay, got it. One thing, I actually did my homework and I tried to Google and actually prepare myself to that interview, because it's finally I worked for Microsoft, right? And I know that it's the family, but I have one question though. I know that there is a dual right thing called, well, there is that thing called dual right? So no pun intended, but still. And you didn't mention it, but why? I mean, I heard that it's something that Microsoft promotes, that this is what you can use to synchronize your finance and operations and sales systems, but you didn't bring this up when you mentioned the integration options that we have. Why?
Sorry. Maybe it's a little bit miscommunication here. So it's partially mentioned, let's say, was mentioned by me as part of the out-of-the-box tooling.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like making the full full focus to different types of the box tooling, but in short, Dolbright, nice tool. So it provides you powerful integration that gives you a way how you can connect your finance operations with 365 sales. Nearly real-time integration. I'm not able to say that it's real-time, but it's fast enough to have two-way data synchronization between two applications. Main benefits come that it allows you to automatically reflect the changes from one system to another and be sure that like the data in both of them are up to date. It gives you quite a lot of the pre-built entity mappings. So if you're going to consume out-of-the-box tables, most of them will provide you all required information. So it will be just a few clicks in configuration, applying the static mapping, and the magic will happen. It still provides you custom mapping and extensions, so you can extend this integration for your custom tables with some limitations and problems, but in overall, it gives you what you need. So two-way integrations with nearly real time. It's the main bonus, it's transaction consistency. So it basically means that it will roll back your changes if the problems happen in one system, so it will roll back it from the both of the systems. And there's some sort of simplified error handling, like maybe not the best UI, not the best way how you make the figure out about the problems, but it provides you an overall view of like what's going on in the system. As a disadvantages that comes partially from the previous advantages comes to the limited support to the custom entities and the things that it can do. And I would say main disadvantage for me is the complexity, because to set up that all right, you basically need a person with experience at the same times in the finance operation and in the sales models. And it's close to impossible to find that person in the market with knowledge at the same time in the system, as most of the consultants focus either in the finance operation, like Business Central, for example, or in sales, customer engagement, marketing, and all the stuff.
Okay.
So it's like nice system. There are some cases when you can use it. I guess we even have some additional comment from the Valentin. So yeah, but in general, that's nice tools that you can use. As for the like out of the box things that I mentioned, by the out of the box, basically Microsoft ship you with two types of integration. Let's say the old one a little bit outdated, and the current one dual write. So dual write gives you those real-time synchronizations, the QV, transaction consistency, centralized error handling. The other option, for example, the data integrator, the old way how we can integrate, it's more like a schedule synchronization. It still gives you a little bit of the mapping and transaction consistency, but not so much as a dual write. We still have some error handling, but currently the most recommended way, or let's say best practice, would be to use a dual write if you would like to go with something out of the box.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. But again, just as you stated, right, we will figure it out once we have the audited at hand, right? Audit results.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense to me. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. I just like to ask you one more thing, and then this is one more important thing, let's say. So application lifecycle management. This is something that we will have to deal with since we are gonna deploy a number. We don't know how many, but still, we need to have a strategy. We need to have an understanding how to streamline the deployment, especially that we will be probably moving towards the stage rollout, and we need to appropriately sequence our release schedule and align those applications and all the updates that we put out for the business, right? So what about ALM? Like how complex it is and how easy it is for us to set up and be on top of deployment process and make sure that our releases are on schedule and with appropriate quality and all of that. So what do you have regarding this?
So LM quite a complex task, and based on maturity of your organization and your final goals, I would say that a way of a citizen developer is not what you're looking for, and you need to take a look a little bit to the pro dev LM processes, especially if you're talking about the Dataverse. So it basically means that but let's start with the basics. So LM, that's not only the deployment part, it's also the overall organization, that's a governance, that a testing, that's adoption of all that stuff. So it comes in the total. Some of the things are not technical and comes, let's say, more to you as a manager, as a stakeholder, to identify and provides appropriate resources and ways how we could mitigate some risks and some activities, how the process should go. And it comes a little bit to the deployment process that for the purpose of purely Dataverse could be used, as I mentioned, in more advanced way. So it means that we are going to have a quite nice production train with full environment list. So it should be the development environment or maybe a multiple development environments based on your teams, vendors, or parent developer. There should be how it's Microsoft calls the golden dev or a stage development environment that will provide the ability to merge changes of the developers and provides a way for your pipelines, for your CI/CD process to make and release artifacts will be deployed to the test environment. On the test environment, we may set up some testing automation system that could be one of the factor provided by the Microsoft, same as we may set up something custom one that will fit your needs. As our rollout will be the stage one, and we still need to support the testing integration with the previous system. So we may need to write additional tests to double check that your existing system still operates, same as our new system operates, and the communication between them. Solution will be stored inside of the repository as an unpacked version. So by default, Microsoft gives you, while you export your solution, just a zipper HIF with all the customizations. But by use of Power Platform CLI, we can easily unpack it to the smaller files, and developers will able to maintain the structure, consuming industrial best practices. So it means a branching strategy. The branching strategy could be declared based on the needs by the future, by the sprint, by the developer, or just by functionality wise, with a pull request to your sprint branch or to the master branch, with a gateway, with the sanity checks. So I would say that only the LM topic itself could take a few hours of discussions to us based on the strategies that we're going to use, the concept and the way. But overall, based on your needs and current problems, I would highly recommend to go to some pro development approach of ELM for the Dataverse, same as finance operations, to implement more rules, to enforce more approval points, that deployment may be done only in appropriate hours after the confirmation of the managers, stakeholders, product owners. The changes may arrive to the master branch only after the code review that should be confirmed by the pull requests that are closed with the comments and all problems resolved. So it should cover most of the problems that you're currently facing on, inconsistency in the new integrations, probably poor quality, poor performance, and you will have an overall overview and knowledge what deployed where, by whom, what changes, and when will reach which environment. And it's super important in the first phases, first rollouts, while we have multiple systems, as it will allow us to synchronize our schedule to know what we are deploying, which artifact will contains what type of the changes. But again, it's super huge topic to just
Yeah, I see. Well,
talk.
it's I'm not expecting you actually to give me to tell me what to do with all of that, right? I'm just we are trying to evaluate do you have the capabilities that we are looking forward to. So, and it appears that you're quite knowledgeable in that area. So thank you for that. Another question that is on my list that is really crucial to us is we are going to move from one system to another, and that is a data migration process. So we will need to make the initial migration of our data from our legacy systems to Dynamics 365 products. So how we can build that process?
How we can build, I would say it's not really appropriate questions, more like how we can prepare to that thing. The build itself will depends on the final tooling, on your decision, how exactly would like to make that migration. Would you like to go not in the working hours, somewhere late night or over the weekends, or are we good to split that into smaller parts? And based on that, we will need to figure out the tooling and how we can build that, what exactly we're going to build. But as an overall, there should be, for the preparation stage, multiple steps that we need to apply right now. It looks quite the same to audit of your IT infrastructure, but it rather the audit of your data, how it's structured, what you have there. So the first and crucial step would be to make the data assessment and analysis. So we should take a look into what you have right now, identify the relationships, the data quality, to find some duplicates or missing information. Based on that, we should be able to generate the data mapping that basically will map your existing data to new tables, new columns inside of the Dataverse or finance operations. Most likely, we will need to clean and transform the data, as there should be a lot of information that you're not really interested anymore after the 20 years of operation. Maybe some parts could be just combined and gather it as in a total, and you don't need all those 20, hundreds or millions of records that currently exist in your system. You just need it for the reporting. So part of this data can go to some other system for some persistent storage that will have a lot less cost, and You still will be able to access the data later on, but we are going to send only the most important, what currently used or potentially may be used inside of the Dynamics product family. We will need to prepare to the data migration and select the tools. Again, it depends on the performance that you're looking for the quality of those tooling, for the time frame, and to which systems we are going to send the thing. So it could be starting from out of the box import wizard that just will take your Excel and upload it to the Dataverse. Some data management frameworks, maybe SQL Server integration services, or some Azure services as additional one. Later on, I would suggest to go with incremental migration approach. So it basically means that we take a small batch of the data that we're going to migrate, we apply it to the target environment, and we run some testing and validations to double check that it's exactly what we're looking for. So it gives us like the safe points, the checkpoint to double check and be sure that that's exactly what we are looking for, what we're going to deploy before we'll run the full integration. We'll need to definitely make some training materials and documentation for the users, because for them that will be magic new world with new UI, new tables, new structure.
Yeah.
Everything will be new. And without those parts, you're going to have super low adoption. And that's one of the points that a lot of customers just forgot to mention and focus on. That's the adoption of the new systems, so existing users. If they are not happy with that system, they're not going to populate the data. If it's not easy, not clear for them how to operate with the system, they're going to make mistakes, or again, they will just ignore the need to populate the data there. And as the last part, that will be go live and post-migration support. So we still should have a team to help in the first hours, first days, first weeks after that migration, to be able to make the ad hoc changes to the data, or quickly find out what was missed and to deploy it later on during like the days and night or the weekends.
Okay.
Hopefully that gives you.
Yeah, that gives an overview. So one maybe last question, really, and then we can wrap up. I think so far you have been answering really well, and but just one last question that really bothers me, and I have to run, so I apologize. So what about TIBCO products? Are you familiar with them, and can we use it to actually migrate the data? Because we use them in house. So I'm wondering if we can use what we have at hands and not scrap it, but because it's going to be really difficult to just say to the management that, hey, let's scrap everything else, everything that we have. Like, you invested a ton of money into those systems, and they are not anymore needed. So definitely that would be in a disadvantage standpoint. So what about TIBCO product? Can we use it?
So, like, first of all, yes, but I would start from small remark here. So, like, you mentioned, like, you're not able to like put it to the disadvantage points, but in the same time, you already have a disadvantage from the TIBCO. So you are already in the vendor lock. So even during the migration to everything new, you are still locked in with that solution, because you have a team with experience in exactly that solution. Same as in the future, it also means that any new member should have experience in that particular thing, or the onboarding process will be super long. But in general, TIBCO and the integration platform, one of the way how a lot of companies do the integration things, it provides on the commercial basis a lot of integration, out of the box integration with a multiple system. And it's super useful for the use cases when you need to integrate different systems. So let's say you need to take your on-premise platform, your on-premise PMS, and move data to the finance operation. So TIBCO potentially may apply to your previous questions. So how we can build the integration process, we can consume TIBCO and your existing team to make that data transformations, mapping, clean of the data validations to resolve null or wrong type issues, to prepare the conversion from your proprietary types to the dataverse or finance separation types, and to run the integration itself. But again, like you still need to pay for that system, and it doesn't really make sense as a final step when you will fully migrate to the Dynamics products, as there's just no need in third-party integration platform to integrate between few products that already provides you all the ways how you can integrate it. And you're still in the vendor lock. So even now, you're looking for a way how to reuse the previous thing rather than just consume what provided to the system. But that's like my impression. I'm not a fan of the TIPCA, so if it's possible to get rid of it, I will try to get rid of it in the mentioned reasons.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. All right. So that was my last question. Thank you for that. And we can conclude that interview went really well, and we can only imagine that Max has been selected as D365 Technical Architect to join the company and help them to transform the business. With that, I want to thank you, Max. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. Thank you for participating in our Dynamics 365 Technical Architect interview simulation. We hope that you found the discussions insightful and that they provided you with a better understanding of the challenges and opportunities faced by technical architects in the rental domain. I just posted a link to a short survey that I mentioned before. It's fully anonymous. We would like you to share your feedback with us and learn a little bit from your perspective, how it went and what can we do better. So please go there and vote and share your feedback with us. And we encourage you to stay connected and participate in future events like this one. If you have any questions or would like to discuss any of the topics covered today, please feel free to reach out to us. Other than that, I think that's it. Thank you all and have a great rest of your day and hope to see you soon.